Okie dokie. So, doing something a little bit different today. I'm going to basically modify my Switch. So, as you can see, it is a Switch. That's in camera, isn't it? Something like that. At the moment, it's just got a purple sticker skin on it. But what I'm going to be doing is replacing it with this kit here. I don't know whether you can see all of it, but this is just a replacement shell, basically. It's got the two Joy-Con parts and the backplate as well. Excuse me. Yeah, so obviously don't try this yourself at home because it's going to totally void your warranty. Not recommended, but I'm pretty certain in my abilities to get this done just fine, so yeah, I think that's basically about it. Let me just make sure I've got the chat up, so there we go, that's better. So this is what we're going to be doing today. Sorry, just bear with me, I'm still messing with shit. I've got a guide in front of me as well. So the first thing we're going to do is the left Joy-Con, I think. What's going to be best for you to see? Probably there, somewhere in the middle. I've got little marks on the desk just to make sure you can see everything. So in here, there is 4 screws, which we're going to be taking apart. And also, I'm sorry if the mic sounds a bit odd, because it's super hot in here. It's like hot as balls. And I've got a fan on. I'm trying to cut out as much of the fan noise as possible, but this is, unfortunately, something that I'm going to have to do because otherwise I'm going to be dying. So what I'm using here is there's 4 tiny little screws. And these are actually like a tri-wing kind of screwdriver bit, so it's like a security bit part. And yeah, so let's see if this is going to come apart now. I might need a spudger. Do I have a spudger? No, apparently I don't have a spudger. I need to crack out the Oyster card a bit later just to spudge this open. But that should... You can see it flashing away there, it's still well charged. Here we go. And we are in like sin. So there we go. So, once we've got this part off, there's a couple of ribbon connectors that are connecting it together. But before I do that, I'm going to just move this battery out. Really could do with some kind of plastic spudger. Now, there may be a cat infiltration as well, which I really hope not, because there's tiny little screws that I need to keep safe somewhere. I'll be back in a second. I'm just trying to find something I can use to prise this open with. It isn't going to damage it. So preferably something thin and plastic. Nothing apparent so far. And they don't provide you with a spudger either, which is not
Item
too useful.
route.
Bear with me 1 second. Meow. Meow. Just making myself a quick improvised spudger. There we go. Probably should have prepared this beforehand, but hey. It's the way these things work. Okay, so we should be able to now... Okay, now this is not stiff enough, is it? Okay, let's do it the dodgy way then. Let's go and get myself a butter knife. Oh, come on. Turning the lights off as well. So, even though yes it is a metal butter knife, it is got a fairly nice round end on it. So, it's not going to damage things too much. And it does feel like this battery is actually stuck in. There we go. Some pretty thin wires on this battery here. And, basically remove this battery connector. So this is going to be a fairly long stream, or maybe I could do it in a couple of parts. Maybe that's a better idea. Because it is a fairly detailed, fiddly little thing. Now, how does this battery part come off? Ah, okay. So it does literally lift off. This is probably where I need a smaller bit. Yeah, so this is kind of just showing how to tease this open. Maybe I can leave the battery connected actually, that's probably a good idea. I don't see any reason why I need to disconnect the battery, really. Okay, I'm going to leave the battery in. I think that's probably an easier method. So, let's see. I need a nice small crosshead for the next part. And there's 4 little screws under here. Actually, no, there's 5. Okay. That's 1. Hopefully you're able to see this okay. Let me put this a bit closer. I keep trying to check as best as I can to make sure everything's all in shot, but you will have to excuse any camera faux pas. I'm noting that these screws are actually different lengths, so I'm putting them in the correct positions on the table so I can remember where they're going. So there's 2 longer ones and 2 shorter ones. And there's one over here. There we go. Nice. So now we are in. I'm trying to decide whether I want to actually unplug most of these connectors. I think I might try and leave them as best I can. The less connectors I have to disconnect, the better, I think. So let me just check the video once more. So the video is actually just showing me that I need to take everything apart. So the next thing I'm actually going to do is undo this little screw here to release the L and R buttons. So that's going to go there. And this should, with any luck, just lift out. And you can see there's actually the clip button which keeps the thing in there. I'm probably going to be reusing the old buttons too. So I'm going to put this to that side because I kind of prefer black buttons. So that's one plate off. That's one side. I'm actually going to open this box up and see what I've got in here. Make sure there's nothing actually damaged while I'm doing this. Nope. Okay, so the kit actually comes with these coloured buttons as well. I don't think I'm going to use the coloured buttons. I think I want to keep the black buttons because they're also the original Nintendo Switch buttons are printed a lot better than these seem to be. And I don't want the letters wearing off, so. So there we go. These are the actual parts here. This is the back plate with the stand. Little kickstand part. Piece of foam. I might use that foam actually a bit later, as long as it doesn't blow away in the fan. So there we go. It does actually come with a nice mesh for the speakers too. Looks pretty sweet. I'm just going to put that to one side, so we'll do that one a bit later. We're going to finish with this Joy-Con first. So I'm doing the left Joy-Con, so it's probably going to be this part over here. Let's put these aside. Yeah, so this is going to be the left Joy-Con. Nice. Now it looks like it's going to be using the same black L&R section too, so I don't really have to do much with that. But it does look like there's a couple of super fiddly buttons that need transferring over. So what I might actually do then, in which case, is start by putting this part back together again. Oh no, I'll tell you what, I've actually got the wrong side. Hold up. This is the one I want to use. Yeah, so that matches that side. It's cool. Move this over a little. So I can start by putting this little black button back in. Something like that. And then I can screw this part back in. That way I don't have to potentially lose a screw. So this should sit in there like so. This is going to be super fiddly. So I've only got 2 hands. It's also not going to be very easy for you to stay able to see this. This is probably why the video is actually telling me to remove the cables, because then it would be easier to actually seat in there properly. But there we go. That's that transparent part on, and the L&R buttons lined up properly. And screwed back in. So the next part I think we're going to do is this middle part here. I don't know if you can hear that clicking, but I'm going to try and see how this comes apart. No, it's also looking like... You know what I think I might actually do is take some of these connectors off. Because I think this is going to be so much easier if I just disconnect some of this. So let's carefully flip this up. Do these actually flip up or? No, I think those actually pull out. Let me just grab a pair of tweezers, 1 second. Meow. Meow. You can probably hear the cat in the background. So this little cable should just tug out. There we go. Let's disconnect that. I'm just going to put this off to one side while we deal with this middle button section. So I'm just flicking backwards and forwards through the video. So this is showing that I need to poke the button out. Okay, so there's a couple of springs that I need to make sure go in the correct place too. Oh, I see how these clip in. This is probably going to take me a fair amount of time to do, so I may need to do this in a couple of parts. I'm watching the video and trying to see how the guy's doing it, but I'm not entirely sure how he's managing to poke this out. Although I have got one side. And somehow poke the other. I think I've got it. Yeah, that's it. So that's the button off, and these are the two tiny springs underneath. Don't run away, stay there. Stay. And two more tiny springs. So as you can see, there's a tiny little circuit board in here that we need to transfer over to this section. Okay. Wrong screwdriver bit. Okay. And this sits in like that. Oops. Lost the screw. I'm hoping you can still hear me while I'm down here as well. In place and screw it back in. There we go. And where's my button gone? Here's the button. So this is going to be kind of fiddly because I need to try and get the button back in place with the springs in place also. I've totally just managed to smush the springs together. Come on, come apart. But yeah, it's not the normal kind of game stream, so I figured it'd be still kind of interesting. One spring sits there. This is going to be fiddly. The other sits there. But now this actually has like 2 pins as well, which need to line up with the springs also. So, how is this going to happen? So that fits in like that. And I need to line up the spring with that one and this one. Okay. So I think I'm going to do it like this. Okay, so it's actually under there. The other spring's fallen out. Oops. My camera's not the best either as well, so I'm hoping you can actually see everything properly. Let me just check on this side. How does that fit in there? Oh, okay. I'm just checking on the original one, how the button fits back into the housing. So that should line up there, that should line up with this one. That's a tricky old button to get back in again. Also, I don't want to actually poke it in, because otherwise I'll have to try and get it back out again. So something I can line up. Yeah, it literally just pushes back in there. Okay. So that side, that side. And with any luck, that, I believe, is a button. So as you can hear, clicks nicely still. The springs appear to be correctly positioned. Yeah, cool. Feels good. So there we go, that's the middle part done for that Joy-Con. Let's see what comes next. So he's just screwing the button in at the moment. repositioning the springs, lining up the button, and popping it back in again. Okay, so next he's attacking the board that's on the middle side. So that's done. Put that over to one side. And bring this back in. This top one appears to just float. So I can take that out and just put that to one side. So the next thing he's looking at is two screws here and here. This one's covered up by a ribbon, which I believe just flips. This one just should flip up, and that releases. There we go. Releases that ribbon there. So now, I know I've just spotted there is actually a spring for this button here, so I'm going to put that over by the button. So we're going to take this screw out. Stick that there for a second. Underneath this little ribbon, I'm going to take that out. Those are the same size, so they can stay together. And this releases the actual joystick part. You see? Okay, so I'm going to leave that floating there for a second. Well, actually, no, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just disconnect this as well, because this is a fairly easy flip cable. Wiggle it out, and there we go. So this is the little joystick module. Put that to one side. Okay, what's next? So next is the two buttons at the top. Okay, so let's take these out. Two little PCBs here at the top that need to be disconnected. Just 3 screws. 3 teeny tiny screws which are going to sit there. You watch me get to the end and have like a few screws left over and sit there on Earth. There's always screws left over after a project like this. And it all seems to work okay, but you know, the screws just multiply. So these are the 2 buttons that sit there. Let's put these over here. Oh, and also under here is the little, I don't know if you can see it very well, but there's the rubber contact and the minus button, which I'm just trying to poke out. There we go. So there's the minus button. Now, actually, this PCB seems to just lift out now, so how does this rumble pack come out? I think this is probably stuck in with some sticky things. Yeah, so this is all coming out now. Okay, he's literally just wedging this rumble pack out, so let me do that. Oh yeah, I see. It's just kind of stuck in. So this is the point when I'm going to grab the next transparent part and literally lift all of this out, like so, and start transferring the buttons over. So this button doesn't want to come out, but that goes over on this side. This button. I am not the most dexterous of guys, so, you know. You're gonna have to bear with me here. Fat, meaty hands is what it is. Now, luckily these only go in one direction, so this is going to go... Oh no, I see. It goes in like that. This one goes in like that. And this one actually goes in there. Sweet. So then under here, I've got to try and remember that the camera's up that side. So this is another, I believe, like the... What is this button? This is the capture button. Now again, I believe this only goes in one way around, so something like that. And the rubber seal goes back on. Like so. Minus button. Yeah, they're kind of keyed, so they do only fit in one direction, which is super useful. There we go, that's that back there. I'm just going to take this rubber part and put this back on top here so I don't lose it. Nice. Okay, with that done, this is almost finished, although there is a tiny little black piece here as well, so I'm going to try and transfer that over if I can unstick it. So I think that would look pretty sweet. I'm sure it's probably to protect from dust or something. You come off? Yeah, you do. Off you come. And then this goes on. Something like that, I guess. Yeah, it looks about right. I guess that just kind of keeps the dust from going inside. So there we go. That's a completely empty original shell. Off to one side. Discard that. So what we're going to do now is basically... Oh, did I miss a part? Oh yeah. There's the contact rubber here. And this is going to go back on here straight away. So this will help to keep the buttons in place. There we go. Okie dokie, so I'm just going to watch this video for a little bit and take a vape as well. Quick vape break. The guy in the video is actually using the coloured buttons as well, but I'm not a big fan of the coloured buttons, honestly, so I'm keeping the black ones. I think it'll look really nice with the kind of X-ray effect. So now all he's doing is screwing the PCB back in place. Yeah, I'm feeling good about this. I think this is going to be fairly easy. Actually, just going to check the stream real quick. Hold the line caller. Yeah, I think everything's all working okay. There's a cat on the floor, just completely passed out. You want to rub your tongue? Sorry, you guys can't see that, but... Okay. So now I'm going to transfer the PCB back into this part. So, first of all, I'm going to put the rumble unit back in its spot there. Sorry, my hands are probably in the way there. And then reposition this circuit board, this PCB back in place on top of the buttons without hopefully disturbing them too much. Which I think I've already done. Just flatten those down and reposition this. There we go. Perfect. So now he is adding one of the screws. It's these little ones here. The first one is this one. Like so. The second one. Is going to go over by this part here. Like that. And the third, I just want to check the video. I think it goes... Oh, okay. He's just putting that black part back in there. Okay, I'll do it in the order that he's doing it. So he's actually putting this thumbstick back in place first. So let's screw that back in. I've noticed this new housing doesn't have threaded screw holes, so I'm just very carefully making sure I'm not going to damage it when I screw these back in. And obviously I don't want to over-tighten the screws, otherwise I'm going to thread the parts. Okay, now that's back in, I'm going to just reconnect this little ribbon cable. Probably should have done that before, but c'est la vie. Might have been easier to do it beforehand, but we're here now, so let's just plug that back in. It's kind of fiddly to do. Let's see, I need a finer screwdriver bit just to push that back in place. Or maybe the tweezers are a better idea. Can't decide if that's in. I don't think it is, because I'm sure that ribbon cable laid flat before. I'm just trying to attack this from different angles. It might be easier in different angles, you see. Gotta kind of admire the miniaturization of the tech in this thing. I think that's in, so I'm just going to flip this down and hope for the best. Yeah, that feels pretty solid in there. So I think that's gripped it. Okay. Nice. Back to the video. Yeah, so the ribbon cable on the video is actually humped like this one is as well. You can kind of see there's a little hump there, but there's also a sponge underneath, so that's definitely how it goes. He's now just putting the minus button back in, which mine already is. Oh, and he's screwing those two little PCBs back in too, so let's fetch these back in. Before I do, actually, I'm going to put the other PCB screw back in, because I don't know why he hasn't put that back yet, but I'm just wondering if I'm going to forget it if I don't do it now. There we go. Okay, so there was these two screws here. No. Okay, what? It's not these screws. These are for the other ones. It's these tiny silver ones. Oh, I see. This tiny little PCB actually fits underneath a ridge first. And that's how it sits in. Yeah, I think that's it, just like that. Yes. So the minus button actually feels quite nice now. Okay. And the other little silver screw here. Goes right there. Sweet. So now let's connect this tiny little ribbon cable back up. This should just push under here. Actually, let me just watch the video. Oh, there was 3 silver little screws, actually. Am I missing a screw already? You know, I think I probably am. Oh well, I don't think that one's terribly important. Famous last words. Ah, you know what, actually, I know where that screw went. That's this one. That doesn't belong there at all. That belongs over here. There we go. That's why you didn't put this screw in over here, because it doesn't belong there. Okay. This needs to go back in here. Actually wants to keep flipping that little grey tab over, which is not ideal. This way. Don't have the best tweezers for this, to be honest. There we go. That's reconnected now. Lovely. So now the button with the spring needs to go back in place. Tempted to put that spring in separately. Actually, I can't because it's on a little pole. Maybe I can encourage that to stay on somehow. There we go. That does feel pretty good. So next up we're going to reconnect this middle part, which goes in this direction, I think. Oh yeah, this is the strange one, which just seems to want to push in. It's the one that didn't feel quite right, but... Ah, balls. Oh, button out. Okay, let me reconnect this first and then I'll put that button back in. I need something a bit more... something a bit flatter. There we go. Done. So then I guess this literally just sits back on top of here. Yep. Almost done with this. Let me just position this button back again. This spring is going to cause a problem. Okay. And then very carefully just reposition this back in place. Making sure everything works. So it's now just demonstrating reconnecting all the cables, positioning that middle plate, and screwing that part back down again. Okay, so these are the goldy coloured ones. I need this screw bit. So that's this one. This one. Ah, yeah, this is the one that goes down here. And this one. I'm hoping you can still hear me okay, by the way, even when I'm whispering. Position the battery back in there. And I'm actually just trying to manipulate the little battery connector because I think I disconnected it by accident. Now we've got power now. Okay, I think it's about time to get this all connected back up again. Ah, does that connector need to go through the battery? How does that work? Let's consult the video. Ah, I see. I think the battery's actually in the wrong way around. So it needs to go over this direction, like so. I think I may have nudged that battery connector again. Fix it all back together. Confirm there's power. There we go, that looks pretty damn fucking sweet. Buttons feel good. That button. Yeah, that feels pretty good. So, one thing I'm going to do real quick is just check it with the actual switch itself. Bear with me 1 second. Just want to make sure all the inputs are working. Sorry, I had to check the video, so I couldn't see it for a second. Okay. So you can see they're both synced. Left and right works, up and down works. Minus button works. Left and right keypad works, up and down keypad works, and screenshot works. Don't know if there's any way of testing these buttons, but I'm pretty sure they're okay. Find there's any problems later, then I can always check it another time. Gotta say, this button feels a little bit flappy, and I'm not sure why. Let me just re-investigate that before I do close it up completely. Just a bit curious as to why it's flapping a little bit in here. So that's something that it needs to clip onto properly. No, I think it's just the way it sits, to be honest. Okay, that's fine. Doesn't feel quite as tight as the other one. But that's probably just to be expected because, you know, third-party case. The button still works though. I can hear it clicking. Oh, you know what? Actually, it feels a bit tighter once I squeeze it together. That looks pretty fucking good though, right? I just want to make sure that the rumble works as well. I can do that by sleep mode again, so the controllers are off. I need to push the button on the top of this. Yeah, I felt that rumble when it resynced again. Awesome! So let's whack this back together. I need the security bit, which is this one. And now these big old long screws. One in there. Like that. Yeah, this third-party case is not. It doesn't have tapped screw holes, which most like plastic products don't. So you have to be a little bit more forceful when you're putting the screws in and just making sure that they're lined up properly. And also just make sure that you don't over-tighten them, so it doesn't screw up the case. No? God, come back. Okay. That's not going to stick, so I'm just going to put them in here. And the last screw. We've actually used up all the screws. We've got none left over, which is a good sign. There we go. One transparent Joy-Con. All working perfectly again. Let's just test to make sure it does fit correctly back in. Yeah. It's nice and solid. And the button releases properly too. Perfect. I'm just going to take a quick water break. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Also, my chair's kind of creaky as well, so I apologise if it's all weird noises and moving about and rustling and creaking and all that good stuff, but yeah, that looks pretty sweet, doesn't it? And I do definitely prefer these black buttons, because the other options were... So there's these buttons as well. You can probably see that the letters are printed on them, but they look like they're literally just printed on top of the plastic, so rubbing with the fingers is going to cause them to rub off after a little while. Now, actually, these are the buttons with the, that would have been on this Joy-Con, the actual arrow buttons. And these do look like they've been moulded into the button itself. So these won't wear off, but I'm a bit wary about these XYAB buttons. So I'm still going to keep with the black and clear theme, because the rest of the details on the thing are black anyway, so X, Y, A and B, they are going to get discarded, and we're going to continue to use these ones, because these ones are actually... I saw a video of a guy that was trying to, you know, check the quality of these Joy-Cons, and he was actually trying to scrub the numbers off, and found that the plastic was... the actual letters were embedded through the plastic as they were moulded, so these are never going to wear off, because all you're going to do is wear the button down, and you're just going to wear down to more letter. So I'm going to continue to keep with those, I think. So what does he do next on the video? So now he's attacking the right Joy-Con. It's probably just going to be more of the same. Yeah, just unscrewing again. I can't imagine the right Joy-Con's going to be much different, although it does have the RFID reader. This is the remains of the original one. So I'm actually just going to pop this loosely back together. Obviously I'm not about to screw it back together again, but that's the original one. Pop that back over there. Yeah, that looks... it actually feels nice and solid as well. It's going to look pretty amazing when it's done. I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. This will void your warranty on your Switch, so if you choose to do it, just obviously be careful. It doesn't feel like this button is pressing.
Hello, electrical skateboard.
Open this back up again. This one's okay. You can hear this one clicking, but the top shoulder button is not clicking. Yeah, it's a little bit squashy, so I might need to open that back up again. This one has got a nice click action on it. You can hear that. This one does not, so there's something... It is... No, it's only activating at the top, it doesn't activate at the side. Whereas this activates from both directions. Yeah, let me... I'll open that one back up again later, so let's crack on with this one, I think. Just a quick nicotine break. But when this is done, I think this is going to be sweet. Super sweet. I wish I could zoom the camera back in a little bit closer so you can see more detail, but unfortunately I'm just using a webcam, so it's not particularly great. Hopefully it's decent enough quality for the stream, but we'll see. It should be fine. So let's crack on with this Joy-Con. Same again. 4 screws in the back. And 4th. 4 screws I'm just going to put over to one side. And let's get cracking into this one. So I don't want to just go gung-ho on it because I know that there are some connectors in there. There we go. So it's a very similar setup. I think I'm going to attack this side again first. So change the screw, drive a bit to this one, and let's take out this slide bar, I guess you call it. Oops. It's the bit that actually slides into the switch. So I'm going to put that off to one side over here. There we go. And carefully take out the... Oh, that's the lock-in button, isn't it? Yeah. Off to one side. So that's the back part there. And replace it back into this one. Am I missing something there? I don't think I am I? That can just literally go straight back in there. Which I'm going to do straight away. So let's take this lock button again, place that back in. Oh, no, it's upside down. Let's get it this way. Like so. And I'm actually going to screw that straight back in. Nice. Okay. Just checking the video. Yeah, so there's a few antenna parts to this side, which handles the actual RFID reader for the amiibos and such. There's a small part here that needs to slide out, which I think is... I'm not sure what that sensor is, but just going to pull off to one side so I can get access to the battery. Come on, battery, out you come. Obviously not wanting to damage the battery, because it is lithium-ion and probably explosive. What's holding this in? Is there more sticky stuff? Yeah. Just more sticky stuff. Let's move that out of the way. Oh, I see. So this little antenna actually lifts off. Not sure if you can see this one, but this little gold connector here should just pop off. Come on. Try a bit more leverage. There we go. So there you go, that just popped off. It's like a little, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a tiny little connector in there. And that's a push fit. So I'm going to pop that over to one side. Now, I need to change bits again. And there's two screws holding the middle portion of this one on. That sit at the top. So that's one. That's two. Oh, and I've just spied another. There's actually three. There's one back here as well. And that's the third. There we go. So that's released the middle portion again. Now this actually has a different connector, which is quite close to the inside here, so I can't manipulate it too much. It's also going to be really difficult to get back in again afterwards. But we will make it happen. I might actually reconnect that back in again before I put the button, the actual trigger part back together. Yeah, I think that's probably a good idea. So, I'm probably not going to be able to see this very well, but there's another little catch to lift. and that just slides out like that. And that's the middle part released. Just put that to one side, because next, I would imagine, we're going to transfer these buttons over, this button over to this side. And that's going to be the next task. And again, it's with this weird fiddly button clip. Which I'm not a fan of in the slightest. Two springs which are going to instantly disappear as soon as this pops off. Come on, button. Out you come. You sure you don't want to come out for me? Let me try that side first. Also, these buttons are very rounded, so it's kind of difficult to get a grip on to prise them out. There we go. That's the spring running away. So this only has one little circuit board underneath, which is nice and easy. One screw holding that in. Let's get rid of that. Reposition this little PCB. Pop the screw straight back in again. There we go. Right, now let's do these springs again. So one fits in there, the other fits in here. Line up the springs of the button. And pop it back in. Easy peasy. Nice and clicky. Yeah, this button actually feels a lot well seated, and I think I know what I may have done wrong in the other button. So I'll just go back and revisit that. But that's that middle section done. Let's pop that over here somewhere. This isn't actually too terrible. It looked more fiddly on the actual video of the teardown video that I'm watching at the moment. But honestly, it's not that terrible. Oh yeah, this guy's doing the buttons slightly different. He's also being a lot more forceful, which is worrying. Okay, so now he's actually just doing the slide rail, which I've already done. Okay, so the next up he is removing the... Oh, you know what I've just done? I've just pinged the spring. I knew it was bound to happen at one point. I've just pinged the spring from here. It's landed either on me or on the floor somewhere. Okay. It's time to hunt for the spring. And... ta-da! I found it. They're not actually too small of a spring, so it was nice and easy to find. Okay, so the next part that you attacked is the actual joystick unit again. So let's remove the cable. He's actually unscrewing it first and then tugging that cable out, so that's the same deal. Small black lever which lifts up. 2 screws. Like so. And this little ribbon cable just tugs out. There we go. Beautiful. This one does appear to be a lot easier. So it's just 2 more screws on the PCB, which I think is here and here. And there doesn't appear to be anything on this side. No, it's loose on this side. So let's take that one out. And take this one out. PCB lifts out quite happily. Oh, I need to remove this rumble unit as well. And this should just lift out. I think it's on a sticky as well, but I should be able to convince this just to pop out. There we go. So let's get the new front part in. And this whole PCB should just lift out. Oh no, wait, I've just noticed another connector. Which is this one here. That's also going to be a pain to get back into. Oh wait, no, there's 2 there. Let's see. Oops. Might need to watch how this one disconnects. Ah, okay. Yeah, this is another little flip gate there. Come on, out you come. There we go. So let's move this over here. No, over this way. And it's just more of a case of transferring buttons again. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing well enough. It's kind of fiddly. Nice. Let's take this little rubber off. Transfer the home button across. And put this little rubber back on. Now there's also something in here that looks like it's going to be fairly tricky to get out. Let's see how this guy manages it. Oh, I see. It's literally just the it's the infrared reader part. And that, of course, is held down on some sticky as well. There we go. So that's the infrared reader. And then let's remove this little black dust part. I presume it's dust, like a dust cover thing. Now, I'm actually going to put that to one side because this part here needs to come out. There we go. This, I'm not entirely sure what this part is. Oh, it's an antenna. It's got like a copper around the outside of it. So that I'm just going to put to one side there. And reposition this dust part. Oops, sticky. Back in place. No idea where this went, but it's going to be roughly there. It does kind of have a keyed hole place. Something along those lines. Just nudge it over a bit. There we go. And replace this part. Okay. So now he's just replacing that plastic part there. He's transferring over the home button, placing the rubbers, placing the buttons, which I've already done. Ah, he's actually sitting this grey rubber part. On top of these. Like so. That just kind of keeps them in place. That X button doesn't seem to be sitting correctly. Let's have a look. Ah, yeah, it's just twisted around, I think. There we go. Much better. And last but not least is the little cross button, which seems to go in this way around. And a little rubber piece that sits on top. Beautiful. Okay, bear with me for a second. Quick nicotine break, of course. It's entirely necessary. So from what I'm watching of this video as well, he's actually replacing this little ribbon cable connected to the antenna back into the PCB first, and then sitting it back on top that way. So that makes more sense. So that's exactly how I plan to do it too. So lift this back out. Carefully push that back into place and lock it down. Nice. He's also reconnecting the infrared cable first as well, so let's do that. Yeah, because these would be super awkward to get back in otherwise. Just like that. So let's seat this back in place. Let's put the rumble unit back there. Actually, let's put the infrared part in first. I'm hoping you can see this part. It's kind of behind, but... Also a wee bit fiddly. Now that the battery's in the way, let's move that all the way first. Let's use the tweezers, that's probably a little easier. There we go, straight in. Rumble part sits on top. And the PCB should just... Let's realign this antenna. Everything should sit back down nicely. There we go. That's looking pretty good to me. Well, that's not no. Something not sitting quite right. I think I've actually knocked some of the buttons out of place. Yeah, everything's all falling apart again. Let me just take this back out. So the Y button has actually fallen out. See if we can slip this back underneath. Sorry, you're not going to be able to see anything for a little while. Let me just get this done. Yeah, something's still not quite sitting correctly, so let me just... Sorry you probably can't see anything of this, but I'm just repositioning the rubber that sits atop the buttons. Yeah, I think the buttons are actually all messed up again. Yeah, they're all kinds of messed up. So let's spin these around. I don't know whether you can see or not, but... One back in. There's another. And the other buttons seem okay, so let's put this back in place. Yeah, that feels better. I might actually just stick a screw back in to keep it positioned. Let me just watch the video again. Meow. Meow. Oh my. Meow. No, you stay down. Yeah. Okay. All the buttons feel good. So I'm going to pop one of the screws back in. Let me just check to see which ones. Okay, so it's a little silver screw. It's going to go in the opposite side to this one, so that goes in here. Nice. That should hold in properly. Yep, feels good. That feels good. Nice. Does he put any more screws in at this point? Yeah, he puts them both back in. There we go. And then he reconnects the joystick module, which goes in that way. So let's hope this ribbon cable back in place. Feels fairly secure. And screw this joystick back on. If I can find the hole for it. Oops. Okay, that's one. And two. I think the next thing I'm probably going to put back in is, I guess it's the middle section that comes next, isn't it? Yeah, middle section next. So that's this one again. That goes in there. Yeah, this is the super fiddly one. I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to be able to show you this one very easily. So I can barely see it myself. Let's approach this from a different angle. There we go, that's that reconnected. What? Wow! 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 I know you're bored, but I can't play with you right now. Oh, the joys of being a cat dad. Okay, so I need to get this little collar button back on. No, you sit down for a bit. Stay there. I'll play with you later. So I'm just going to flip this backwards. Right, so here we go with springs again. Let me spin this around this direction. I think it's going to be easier. So this fits on that direction like that. Spring in there. Hold this with the tweezers. That'll be easier. Okay, that's positioned. Okay, and now I need to place this down carefully without disturbing that button. Which I've just done. Nah, there we go. That is that. Okay, that's got a nice clicky action, so that's in a good place. And while that is in a good place, I'm going to screw that back down. Two screws and the third screw. Cool. Buttons are working, buttons are working. Front buttons all feel good. Feels nice. And let's not also forget this little antenna thing, which I believe just slots into there. Cable goes through that part there. In fact, let me just pop this connector back on. Do that first. There we go. Slap that in there. This little grey cable actually tucks into this groove. There we go. Oh, it just popped back on. There we go. Nice. I think that's it. We just need to reposition this battery, which went like that. And then flip this case back on. There we go. I'm just clicking it back into place. That looks pretty sweet. Let's do another quick check of the buttons to make sure everything's working properly. Let's turn the switch on. That one's synced. This one's synced. That button works okay. Let's just do it again. That button works. Plus button works. The actual thumbstick works okay. And the home button works. Lovely! Lovely, lovely, jubbly! So let's just re-screw this back together. Re-screw it. Or just normally screw it back together, you know. It's one. Two. Three. And 4. There we go. Perfect. Everything looks quite tasty in there. See the buttons working, so it's still got power. And these are the two controllers together. Yeah, this one, I've definitely messed up the button on this one, because this one's got a nice clicking action, this one doesn't. Also, this button feels great. This one's a little bit squashy, so I think I need to reposition this one. But I can do that one off stream. And clicks in nice, feels solid, and the release button works. I think that's a success. 2 transparent Joy-Cons. The only thing that's left to do now is the actual Switch itself. Lovely, 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 lovely. Another quick water break, I think. Gotta keep hydrated. I'm thinking the actual switch should be easy enough. It does just seem to have 4 screws on the back, and I might need to do something with this kickstand as well, but that's fine. So, let's just put these here for a second. I'm going to take another nicotine break. Man, it is so warm in here, and there is the biggest moth that is now flying around my light. Oh my goodness. I generally don't mind moths, because they're kind of cute and fuzzy. As long as they don't, like, fly at my face in the middle of the night or something, then they're cool. They can chill, but just not near my face. You know what I do want to check as well, now that I think about it. If I can find my case... Where did my switch case go? Ah, I see it. I see it, it's under here. So while I was in Japan, I actually picked up a very fancy set of you know the straps that you attach to the Joy-Cons to turn them into like individual controllers. I actually picked them up in pink, which looks pretty sweet. This slides on this way. No. There we go. So that looks pretty cool to have them in this bright orange pink, bright hot pink. Yeah, they look really cool. They kind of they look a little brighter on the actual, sorry, not wording very well today. On the actual camera. How does this one fit in? It's plus to plus, isn't it? Like that. So it's got to go... There we go. Just like that. Yeah. That looks suitably hideous. I think actually the black ones would work better for this... just for this transparent skin, transparent shell, but the pink ones are fun anyway. Are you going to unlock again for me? There we go. I cannot get this back off again. There we go. Yeah, these I don't think fit very well anyway, but they're kind of fun. Okay, and last but not least, here's the Switch. So this one should be fairly self-explanatory. I've got a screen protector on here as well, so it should be fine face down like that. But actually, I've got a piece of foam, so I'm just going to place it on there instead. I think that's the easiest way. I'm going to start by taking these 4 security screws out. That's 1. Two. 3 and 4. Let's take this kickstand off. I might need to transfer this metal part over. Ah, there's another screw in there too. In fact, let me just have a quick gander at the video. Ah, yeah, there's quite a few different screws on this one. So I'm actually going to turn this off. I think you actually have to hold down the button, don't you, to turn it off? Yeah, there we go. Power off. Nice. Apparently a lot of screws in this one, so there's some in the bottom. These are actually normal crosshead screws. So let's take these out. Oops. These are kind of tiny, so I'm going to keep those together. There's some in this end as well. Actually, there's 4 in there. I don't know whether you can see that on the stream, but there's like 4 little screws in there. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's take this side out. One. 2. 3. Oh, there's actually 5 on this side. 4. 5. Let me just check, see if there's 5 on the other side too, and I just missed one. Yes, there is. There's another one here. There we go. So 5 side screws. And I think there's this one at the top here too. It's a tiny little one. Which I'm going to put with the 2 bottom ones. Nice. So already I can see that the slide rails are loose. I'm not going to tug at those too much. Consult the video. Okay, so now he's doing the 4 corner screws. And there's the one that's sitting underneath the kickstand as well, which is this one here. Ooh, that's super tiny, so that's going to stay separate too. And then... oh, let me take the game cartridge out as well. That's probably a good idea. There you go, Mario Kart. And that should be all of them. It's mostly coming away. I'm feeling a bit of resistance over by the headphone jack. I haven't missed anything, have I? No, there we go. Well, that's it. That's the back removed. That's one side. And now we have a fairly naked looking switch. And this is the new rear cover. So it looks like we have to do some transferring of things from the old plate. The old back plate to the new back plate. So let me just move the switch to one side, and we'll take this one back in. So we have the mechanism here that the kickstand clips into, and we've also got the game cartridge cover as well. So I'm going to... firstly, let's take this kickstand holder part out. It just lifts off and transfer it directly over onto the new one. Two screws. And then we're going to transfer this this part here, the game cartridge cover, which just appears to have the one screw. That holds a little plastic piece on top of the rubbery plastic part. Let's move that out of the way again. And the spare in. Put the plastic part back with the plastic retainer. Add that screw back in. Kickstand parts are tight. This is working as it should. And then I'm pretty sure it's just a case of putting it back together again. I haven't missed anything on this old case, have I? Just these two parts. Let me also... Meow! Let me play with you later. You sit down. Wow! So I actually need to transfer this thing over as well. So... oh, what kind of screw is that? Oh, that's a security screw. Okay. Security screw bit is this one. I've got to say, this new transparent case is actually pretty damn good quality. It's like the actual forming of it is pretty much exactly the same as the original Switch. Like, it is very accurate. Yeah, I'm quite impressed. It's a bit of a fiddly screw, because it's kind of got a very flat, wide top, which makes positioning it a little tricky, but there we go, we got it. Nice. Old kickstand out the way. Let's bring the Switch back in. Let's put it the correct way around. And now it's just a case of slapping everything back on again. Like so. So, let's switch the screwdrivers back again. I think the first thing I'm going to do is let's put this tiny fiddly screw back in by the SD card slot. There we go. I actually want to do the 4 corner screws first. Doesn't seem to be lining up. No? You're not going to line up for me? Okay. Oh, I see. Case actually clips on in places. Okay, that looks nicer. Let's try that again. There we go. That's screwing in properly now. He says, and it's not. Oh no, it is screwing back in. Next one. These feel a little bit strange, but yeah, these are kind of a little bit odd, these screws, but they're working. Okay, and number 4. There we go, that's better. Let's do the tiny screws that are in the top and the bottom. These are not magnetic, so. That's one. Upside down. Two. Number 3. And all that's left now is these side rail screws. There's 10 of these. One. Two. Oh, you know what? I should probably check the kickstand to make sure that works properly. Yep, there you go. That works. Clips down, unclips. Pretty good. Where was I? Screws. Four. And 5. On this side. 1. 2. 3. 4. And the final screw. He fudges it. Screw number 10. There we go. So that's all done. Let's take the Joy-Cons. Slot those in. And there we go. That's my new transparent, completely transparent Nintendo Switch. And it looks amazing. Let's power it up. Switchy! There we go. Everything's all working fine. And yeah, that's how you create a sexy looking, transparent Nintendo Switch. So, I think I'm probably going to take this Joy-Con back apart again just to check that button, because it doesn't feel quite right, but essentially that's it done. And it looks amazing. I'm really glad I did that. But like I said previously, it does void your warranty, so consider that if you're, if you're going to try and do that for yourself. But I'm quite happy having this nice, unique looking Nintendo Switch. And that's it from me, basically. I know it's something a little bit different. We normally do gaming stuff, but I was going to do this anyway, so I thought I might as well just turn the camera on and do it on stream, right? So there we go. If you did watch, thanks for watching. Normal game viewing is going to be back to normal. This is only a one-off. I'm only doing one of these, I think. But normal scheduled viewing will resume soonish. But yeah, if you're watching, thanks for watching. If you're watching the YouTube video, thanks for watching this too. And that's about it. Bye bye.